Going a little slow here, but we're good. We're back.
We're back.
Took a
After
week
a
off.
week hiatus.
Yep.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
What was it, me? What are you talking about? Summer. Things like that can happen sometimes.
Yeah, things like that can happen.
I had to see off a friend.
A lot can go down.
Yeah.
On a summer weekend.
I had to see off a friend who was selling a Shirkston property, and then we went up there and did some shit. Anyways, yeah, acted like I was 20 again.
Nice.
Yeah. No. It sounds in theory. It sounds amazing.
In Siri.
Siri. How does it sound in theory?
We could ask
It does
Siri.
not sound very good. Are we frozen?
It's moving very slowly. It
whatever.
looks like we're good, but
I don't know. We'll have to see. But
yeah, it's just gonna take.
Oh, it does. It's just gonna do.
It's
some
just gonna be
weird
laggy
shit.
because it's still like doing its boot up stuff. I think it's being really, really slow since booting it up. But I think we're live, right?
Being a homer.
You
Yeah,
see
we're
there?
live.
All right.
But it is freezing and stuff. Like it's frozen right now. I don't know what's going
Um,
Yeah, it's doing some weird shit. But all right, well, we apologize if you get some frozen bullshit.
I feel like it should be good at the end once it's all processed,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I guess.
You'll hear half of what we're saying, and the other half you'll be
I
like...
feel like the audio will go through if anything, and the video might be a little choppy. But so this happened today. U.S. Supreme Court overturns protections for abortion from Roe v. Wade.
You were happy
You hear
about that, right?
that? Well, yeah, because I would rather it be a state-to-state thing. I'd rather the government not really
get out of
have
it,
a decision.
I agree.
I might even say make it county to county for crying out loud. Like I'm very libertarian. I might even go household to household about whether or not just let's not tell people what to do as best we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's massive protests. We'll see what's going on because things have been getting a little crazy. A lot of threats. Last couple weeks leading up to this, as people have expected it. So who knows what's going to go down?
Unfortunately, it goes the other way too, right? Like where you want to step out of it, or you want people to step the fuck out of it, but at the same time, then people you want to protect people's rights to be able to do something, because even if the government's not there, people might try and stop them on their own. When you're talking about killing babies, people get all they get pitchforky. They start getting pitchforks and fucking torches and shit, right? Which I'm not I understand.
It's one of those things where it's understandable.
Yeah.
Like
you want to kill a baby, I'm not really for it, but at the same time, if you want to do some shitty shit, I'm all for.
I think one of the ways to look at it is people get caught up like horrible things happen all over the world all the time.
Yeah.
And we're not freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And so sure, maybe it's a little closer to home, but like you can just cut those people out of your life if you really don't want to be involved in it, or if you really think it's that horrible of a thing. You can just get rid of anybody that if it's really a hard line for you, you can just be like, okay, I'm not going to engage with you. Yeah. You can even go as far as to be like, okay, you know what, I don't want to do business with you. I mean, you can't like decline services, but you could be like, okay, I don't want to go to your store because you support this. You have that kind of control.
Yeah, I know, it gets weird though.
But we don't.
A little bit weird.
We don't get this up in arms about stuff like when you have like think about all the horrible things going on in Africa with like warlords going around like cutting people's hands off just because they can, basically, right, to like assert dominance. And it's like we don't get all up in arms about this going on.
Yeah. It's only when it's political, when it makes sense.
And it's here, and it's like my team versus your team, and it's like
well, that's fucking humans. Unfortunately, we're not very sophisticated when you get us en masse, right? But I don't know. Like I'm in a weird like middle part of it. Like I don't like it, but I am for freedom of choice. So it's like a weird place to be, right?
And I mean, it's very understandable.
I don't want to know. That's what it is for me. I just don't want to know. Like, don't tell me. Don't ask. Don't tell. Yeah,
it's kind of like you have your business, I have mine.
It's kind of like okay, so I don't take any heat for this, but the spirit of the whole idea of don't ask, don't tell when it came to gays and the military and stuff like that, I get it. I get the idea of that. It's because you didn't want to discriminate somebody based on their sexual preference. I get that. That's
right.
So what I don't understand is why it's like no. We want to be out. We want you to know, but I don't run around telling people I'm heterosexual. Like, I just do it, and like if somebody knows, they know. If they don't know, cool. I want it to be the same way.
Yeah,
with all
I think for the gay thing, on some level, you can understand the pride thing, just because for so long, like,
well, it's that
you might have been cut out of your family for doing it. So many people were like afraid.
No, and I get that.
To be open about
it's
it.
that hyper swing, right? Like,
yeah. So now it's like
taboo,
now it's like be proud about it. But then the whole pride thing went into like now they're like parading kink.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
I know. And now you're perverting it. You're perverting the original
like,
message.
you do what you want in the bedroom. I don't give a shit, but, like, you don't need to be marching down a public street in
it's like
gear,
we've lost class, right? Like, it's classy and it's fine to see two men kiss in public. Maybe don't fucking make out like heavy.
But anybody don't make out
exactly,
like
right?
heavy. You know, like a
kiss
whatever.
and a hug,
or especially
even a little
like
butt grab or something.
It depends on where you are, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're in a park, mostly isolated, like it's not that big a deal.
If you're in a church, maybe
get a little extra. Yeah, if you're in the grocery store, if you're like surrounded by 1,000 people, you know, you don't need to, you know.
I wouldn't do that.
Have some respect.
I wouldn't do that with my girlfriend, right? So it's like, you know, it's the same thing. Like it's a weird. It's almost like a weird learning curve. It's like, oh, well, we've been in the shadows for so long. And now it's like, oh, we're out in your face now.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to do that. We don't have to hyper-correct.
Yeah,
we're correcting. Let's just...
But all the people who said that, like, this leads to more perverted stuff, that they were proven right? Like, the first Pride parades, what were they like? They were just like, hey, we're gay and, like...
We're here, we're queer, get used to it.
We're proud of who we are. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you were, you know... you were sort of marginalized for a significant period of time. Parts of the time you were killed for your sexuality, so it's like, okay,
still are in parts of the world.
Yeah, in parts of the world. And so it's like, okay, yeah, you know, you do your thing. But now it's like, and we're gonna march down the street. There's gonna be the naked group that goes by, and then there's gonna be like the BDSM group that goes by, and there's gonna be like the gimps, like the people like with like the dog mask, like walking on all fours, being walked on a leash. Like, you don't need to do that.
It's kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious, but like in the streets.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
That's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad.
That's like, why are you taking it there?
Yeah.
And that was the concerns of the conservative right, and everyone's like, no, you're ridiculous, not going to do that. But then they did that, and so it's like, okay, well, now maybe we should take those people's concerns a little more seriously, because they were right this time. And then when you get back to the abortion thing, it's like everybody was okay with abortion, or for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, we could get on the same page when it's like safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah. And
now they're advocating for like, well, one, they're just advocating it for like, oh, you can just do whatever you want because you just get an abortion.
Yeah.
And they're like, and advocating for late-term abortions, and even post-birth abortions have been advocated for. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's just murder.
Right. So
it's
now it's like,
of the body
now it's like, okay, if it's no abortions or, you know, late-term and or post-birth abortions, you know what? Fuck it, we're doing no abortions. And I think that's what a lot of people...
Well, post-birth just comes to the whole idea of, this is going to complicate my life. Please get rid of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of abortions are that, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But some are, you know, health-related.
It's more understandable when it's like the first month.
Sure.
And you're like, fuck, what do I do?
I didn't plan this. I wanted to have a life. I wanted to build some things. I get that completely.
Now it's 9 months. You give birth and you're like, I don't really want this thing. Like, I mean...
Oh, he left me at 8 months.
That's why we have adoption, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Like,
there's a lot of people that'll take that baby and fucking raise it and love it.
A lot of bad people, though, too. Sure. That's a tough one.
Yeah, no. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, it's like rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I crapped out. I got a fucking perverted, hold me in the closet, beat me up every day. Foster
damn.
Fuck. Damn it. Roll again.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. This one's an alcoholic fucking. Like, damn it. I'm going to get one of these times.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I just, but I have a different approach on this kind of stuff because I told you because my childhood sucked. But
yeah.
So I don't. You just provide. I was provided life for the most part, you know, like, and the rest of it, at times I was provided welfare, but most of the time I provided my own welfare for most of my adolescent life, right? So it was like, I don't know. I have a different kind of approach to the whole idea of that end of it, you know. But I just think, like, when we get back to the abortion thing, if you're talking about early term, I don't
it's definitely different.
It's hard to argue it though, because like you're rationalizing based on like time, or like, that's 6 months difference. Well, 6 months is a big fucking time difference.
And it's still still a human being.
Yeah.
You know, that argument still holds.
Yeah.
It's not like it goes away.
How do you really rationally argue this argument outside of saying life is life and you're killing life? You know what I mean? Like, that really is the best fucking pedestal to stand on. If you feel that way and you're like, I'm just pro-life, you kill something, you're a murderer, that's really the easiest fucking place to be, because the rest of the places all rely on the idea that autonomy is more important.
It's
than
more
life.
Nuances, and it's a lot more. The line is a lot less clear.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So.
And I take that hard line because I'm the opposite side. I'm like, hey, no, I'm all for your freedom of choice.
Yeah,
but it's easier to argue the other end. Is what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, so because you have the moral high ground. You have the moral high ground. Yeah, you just say it's.
And I mean,
how do you argue with someone like, say, a Ben Shapiro, who is completely against abortion? Right? Have a debate with him about abortion.
Oh, you can't.
You can't.
I'd walk away with my
right.
tail
I just
between
look at
my
him
legs.
and say,
like,
"Hey, man,
I'm sorry, Ben."
I just be like, "Look, man. Yeah, I just like freedom of choice. I just like freedom of choice over,
My
morality."
only argument to Ben Shapiro would be like, "Look, we can't stop horrible, bad people from doing bad things. So it's going to happen. Maybe if it's in the open, then we can know who the bad people are and we can choose who we engage with.
And you take that hard line that I don't take. I don't think everybody's bad that does it.
No, but that's like the position, right? Like, you're killing a baby. That's like the Ben Shapiro thing. Like, it's a fundamentally immoral thing. Yeah. So that's how I would approach that. I'd be like, well, maybe it's better to know, like, if the person who does this is a bad person, maybe it's better to know who they are so that you can.
They get the scarlet letter.
Yeah.
The big old A, you killed something.
Yeah.
You get an A tattooed on you.
A little teardrop.
Oh, yeah, a little teardrop right here. Oh, imagine you see, like, tear down there, all the way down to her fucking
And she's 17.
Speaking of that, there was a guy that I worked with, and he used to, I think I told you this story before, he used to take rental babies. I used to call them rental babies. He would take babies from this, like, they would short-term adopt babies, or foster, I should say, babies that were born to women with issues. Are we still good?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just double checking the microphones because I'm paranoid about that since the last time.
Yeah. Anyway, so and then this one girl that they were taking babies from, they took like 3 from, and she was like 29, and I think she was on her 10th. Where they just take it. They just take the baby away. Like, the minute she gives birth, social services comes in and just takes it. Because she's a fucking piece of shit drug head.
Yeah.
Goof.
Oh man, that baby's probably fucked up.
Oh yeah,
too. Like,
some of them.
Some
of them had some like fetal alcohol syndrome, addicted to different drugs when they're born and stuff. Like, it's some fucked up.
That stuff's horrible.
That's a fucked up hard way to come in. But what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, you got this. Do you take all her shit out?
The other thing too is this is like a luxury argument.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, there are times in history where it's like,
it's hilarious. It's a hilariously luxury argument.
Well, actually, no. I was gonna say there are times in history. Most of history, it might have been better to abort most.
Yeah, because
babies.
you probably die a lot of the time.
You were most likely going to die if you had any kind of like genetic deficiency. You just don't have a chance in hell.
You're done.
Right? Like, you pretty much had to be like
and
healthy.
The baby. Most of the time, and the baby's dead too, because they can't fucking even give birth to the baby early. So the baby's gonna fucking kill the mother. The mother dies. Yeah. The baby's like 5 months, and they can't bring a preemie baby out of that. Like, they just started doing that over the last like 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, my ex was she's in the NICU, where she was like, her and her brother, because she's twin. They were fucking under 2 pounds, both of them.
Wow. And
they weren't supposed to survive, and they both survived, right? So it's like, but that was like 1981 or something, right? So
but that's what we can do like now, and it's like, oof.
Yeah.
Throughout most of history, you didn't.
Yeah. Or 1980. Sorry, my bad on the year. But anyways, so like, you're right. For a blip in human history, we've been able to successfully give birth without, well, not we, women, or birthing people. Sorry, birthing people. My bad. No, let's stay PC.
Men can give birth.
Men can give birth, obviously. It's science. Science.
Yep.
Yeah, for the most of human history, we haven't. It was very, very dangerous. It still is dangerous, which is funny. Like, there's still a percentage of women that die giving birth. Yeah. Around the world, if you add all the statistics of different countries, as opposed to like the more developed nations, yeah, it takes that number to a much higher number than you'd fucking think.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, eh?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
fucking
wild.
weird. It's really weird when you think about.
You think about how unforgiving nature is.
Yeah, or just
how hard it is to get to like this.
Yeah.
To like where like you and I are, where like we're developed.
Yeah.
And like
safe, essentially, right? Where we've
well, not even necessarily safe, but like just in these bodies.
Yeah. Like
alive and healthy and capable,
stable to some degree. Maybe not you. You're not.
I'm not stable.
You're an unstable genius.
Unstable genius.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Oh, look at that! I gave you a fucking compliment wrapped into an insult. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's funny, but I don't think this will really affect too much. I think it's more like political bullshit with this whole Roe v. Wade thing.
Oh, it's all political bullshit. It's team things. A lot of people I think most people who have an opinion on this don't really have an opinion on this. Yeah, it's just like that's their team, and so they.
I don't think it's going to change much of anything.
Like to them, it's like this grand moral issue, so they're standing up for it, and it's like, who knows what's going to happen though. Hopefully it doesn't go too bad. People are saying there might be rioting, and who knows what'll. There
always might be.
Who knows where we go?
Civil unrest, man. We're at a stage of where we're just bored.
Population collapse.
We're just kind of bored though overall, right? You know, we don't have enough to do, and we just came out of, for the most part, a pandemic, or have we? I don't know. Like, are we ever coming out of this? I think it's just going to be perpetually kicked down the road.
Well, it's a good time to transition into the Bitcoin topic.
The pandemic of Bitcoin.
Because it's economically relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I personally think that the Bitcoin, or the cryptocurrency argument is dead now.
Yeah.
And my reasoning for that is that if you look at the chart here, right, it peaks at 67,000 on November 8th, 2021. So that's not even a year ago.
Right.
And since then, it has done nothing but go down.
Right. Just
steadily going down all the way to $21,000, which from top to bottom, I don't know if, that's not even, that's not even accurate. It's like 70%, 65% down from the top to the bottom. And that's okay. So a lot of people will say, well, that's normal for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will do that, and it has done that in the past. I think what's different about this is that the whole argument for crypto is that it's a hedge against inflation, and this period is the worst period for inflation.
Right.
In I think now 40 years we're at, and it's just getting worse.
More than 40. It was since what's his face? Since Carter.
Yeah, so
it'd be in the 70s.
It's getting absolutely nuts with how bad inflation is. Over this period of time is when it's happening. This is, if the argument held true, you would have expected Bitcoin to be
the opposite.
At the very least, holding value.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but it's absolutely plummeting.
Remember when we
talked
about this a bunch of podcasts ago, and I said that very thing. I think it's completely fucking linked to the market, and that completely steals its whole idea of decentralization.
It's not even linked to the market. The market rallied today, and Bitcoin barely went up to it. You know, it's like it's just dead now. And I think that's the reason. The reason is, if you look at the past year, that is the time you would have expected Bitcoin to be like one of the best performing assets if it was a hedge against inflation, because inflation was so bad, is so bad and getting worse. But if you invested in Bitcoin a year ago because you were worried about inflation, you're
fucking wrecked right now.
Yeah.
You better hold tight. And
You better hope.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it'll ever hit zero. I think there's always going to be a novelty there, but I don't necessarily.
No, I think there's enough money out there in it for it to never hit zero.
And there's always going to be it's a thing, right? If Bitcoin hits $100, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, "Oh my God, your opportunity to buy Bitcoin at $100." And
I think it missed its opportunity. You know what I mean when I say that? I think it was very popular at one point, and it could have kind of really, really caught on, but it kind of missed it. And so then now it's it's kind of the old thing. There'll be new things now coming out. Like you got NFTs and people talking about.
NFTs are dying too.
They're dying too.
Right along with this.
But that's what I'm saying. All the time there's these new things.
This speaks to how fucking weird our economy is, that digital art was selling for hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, in some cases tens of thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars even, for fucking tens of dollars. And I'd be like, what the hell are you buying?
What did I just buy? I just bought a fraction of a dog emoji. Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, the dog is licking its own ass. Cool. That's better.
It's completely digital. It's not tangible. At least, like, art in and of itself is a little bit wacky.
Yeah. Oh,
but at least it's a thing that you have
yeah.
in your house, and it's like you have the one thing.
And it ages and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what is digital shit? How does it age? Like, it just gets harder and
It's
harder
just a
to store.
novelty.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's-
what are you going to store it on now? Because nothing can fucking read it anymore. Like, let's say, for example, you had something from, like, 89. It'd be on a floppy disk. How the fuck do you get it off the floppy disk onto a high-speed USB stick or something or whatever, right? It'd be like, I got to somehow transfer this fucking thing off the floppy disk. Nobody has a floppy drive anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I have a perfect example of that. Like, that correlates with the auto industry. So a dude comes into the shop and he got shocks put on for his 2003 Corvette. They were discontinued, the OE shocks, meaning the stock, like what was supposed to be stock to that car, right?
Right.
So they're discontinued, so he had to buy aftermarket Bilstein shocks. But the programming in the car didn't recognize the Bilstein shocks because there was like a ride, like a suspension ride on it. So in order to make the shocks work with that car, you have to disable the programming in the program. The dealerships didn't even have the programming anymore for that fucking car to disable the shocks, so they're fucked. But we happen to have the old fucking thing to run that program. Dealerships didn't have it anymore. It was obsolete. We happen to have it, so we could do it. But it'd be the same sort of thing if you're looking at that. Somebody would have to have a floppy drive, plug it into their fucking computer, and be able to take that shit off the floppy and put it on.
The thing is, a lot of it now is like is actually digital, so it's like it's reached the internet's reached a point where it's universal enough.
Maybe, but who knows? Maybe in fucking 10 years from now, we have a completely different way of doing shit, and all the information that we have.
Yeah, but the things will be transferable.
But maybe not. I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know 100%. I tend to agree. You're probably right, but you never know. What if all of a sudden it's like we can't now? This information is so obsolete in its form that we can't get that information over to the new shit. You know? Yeah. And people are like, fuck NFTs. We don't give a shit. We don't care.
That's already almost.
That's what I mean. We don't give a fuck
like,
if you've spent $1 million on a fucking digital thing. If you can't get it off that's your fucking tough titty, buddy. You should have kept a computer that could fucking transfer it. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe there'd be a niche market for somebody to say, hey, we have a store.
Probably would. But
like, there are stores that will take old VHS and transfer them over to whatever. So there's a niche market for that even. So, but I think it would be the same sort of thing. But anyways.
Yeah.
We're losing. We're kind of getting off topic a little, off the Bitcoin.
Well,
a little bit, I guess.
I don't know. I maybe a little bit. I just think that cryptocurrency is dead. Oh, that's the point that we were talking about NFTs, is that our economy has gotten to this weird kind of luxury investment of like these digital investments like cryptocurrencies and NFTs, and like these things aren't anything. Like, at least you buy a stock, right? Like, you're putting money into the economy. Yeah. Right? So like the company that sold those shares, they get capital. They're spending that capital
good or service
doing
provided.
Stuff.
Right.
They're developing. Yeah, sure, you might invest in a bad company where they put all that money into their executives, and then they go bankrupt in 10 years, and you're shit out of luck. Whatever, right? But at least it's going into something. Whereas like these digital currencies aren't doing anything. Yeah. But yet they're worth so much. Yeah. It's like, how did that happen?
Right.
And what's going on economically that this is even possible?
Remember
how rich are we as a
and that's
culture?
what I was saying to when Art was here. We were talking about that. I was like, what do you tie it against? If you don't tie it against money or some type of goods or some type of service, it ends up being just arbitrary. I say this is worth this, and you go,
well, it is all tied together. I mean,
well, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So
like,
it has
you can trade bitcoins for dollars or euros, or you could probably find somebody that'll trade you like direct commodities.
Well, that was my point, though, is because like, so it is tied to everything. It's not decentralized because it's tied to everything. Yeah. And it has to be tied to everything. Like, the only way something's decentralized is if it's sort of on its own.
Well, the issue is not like the value; it's the regulation. So it's like you could use it to make transactions sort of outside the government, but now we're seeing governments are like tracking Bitcoin and stuff. So
they were never going to let that happen. They were just behind. They were just behind. They didn't.
Yeah,
think it
that
was
was the idea, but then
they guessed wrong. They
Yeah.
thought it was going to be nothing. It turned out to be something, and they went, "Oh,
Yeah.
let's get ahead of this now." Like,
and they did.
and
Then you have the government.
They've
ones.
probably caught up, and that's why we're seeing what's happening, right?
Yeah, well, they can get you. Yeah, sure. They can get you if you do, because they have been finding people who have like sort of done illegal stuff with crypto and either like taking the money out of the wallets or tracking the individuals involved and arresting them. Like that's happened.
Yeah. And that, I mean, how would you think that they couldn't? You know,
The idea is that the blockchain is anonymous.
yeah. Well,
But when you're signing up to Coinbase or something, right?
yeah. It's regulated.
You're attached at some level.
Yeah.
There might be a way to do it anonymously if you're doing it with like one of those keys.
You could
maybe.
You could do a legitimate peer-to-peer type transfer where we wouldn't
Yeah.
touch anything, but that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, and it's dangerous
Well,
as fuck. Somebody could just
yeah.
rob you of all your shit, and what are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like, imagine that you and I are like, hey, it's like, all right, I'm gonna trade you some Bitcoin for whatever, this NFT you've got.
I got this cool rock.
I got this cool rock, or I got
Yeah.
this cool like digital rock. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll give you like 50 Bitcoin for it, and you're like, yeah, I'm really fucking rich. I go to transfer you, and they're bullshit. It's not even fucking real. What are you gonna do? I got the rock. Yeah. Okay. Like, that's you. So you want a level of regulation. You want to have somebody be able to come in and say, hey, oh, no, that was not legit. So we're gonna step in. Like everybody with your money in your bank account, even. When I was an advisor, everybody. Well, save for people that just didn't know any better to ask the question, but everybody that was sort of in the know would ask me, "Is my money safe?" Like, because with the bank, each account that you have is insured up to 100,000, no matter what's in it, right? You can have $1 million in it; it's only insured up to 100,000, unfortunately, through the CDSC, right? CIDC, something like that. Anyways, but yeah, so people would ask me that. But how do you insure it? Imagine the guy that has that $50 million on a hard drive somewhere in the dump. Imagine if somebody.
Oh, it was almost $1 billion.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Right.
It was a lot.
If you could go back in time and somebody said,
and
hey,
actually, and that was years ago. That was like when Bitcoin hit 4,000.
Yeah.
It's like probably tens of billions when it hit 60K.
So imagine if somebody said to him, like he could go back in time and somebody said, hey, I'll insure this for you for 25% or whatever, right, or 10%. Yeah. He'd be like, yeah, fucking right. Yeah, insure it, please. Right? That regulates it.
Yeah, and oh man, I was listening to a podcast recently and they were talking about how like the insurance industry is kind of like fucked. There was, I think it was Reagan was president.
Did you say Reagan? Sounded like you said Reagan.
Reagan was president. Reagan was president, and something had happened in the ocean where like a couple of cargo ships had been sunk.
Oh, do you mean the oil tankers?
I thought they were cargo ships.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Carrying a bunch of cargo, and they were insured.
Oh, okay.
And so when the owners of the ships, I don't know if it's like the same company or if it's multiple companies, whatever, when they went to the insurance companies didn't have the capital to support the thing. So they had to go to like their insurers, and it became like this whole big deal where it's like, we might not be like liquid enough to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just a couple of ships.
Yeah.
Like everything is insured. So like what happens?
You know they do that now, eh? Where insurance companies will sell liability to other insurance companies.
Yeah.
It still happens.
Yeah.
It's
It's just gotten worse.
But they legally have to have a certain amount. I think they have to have a certain amount of asset or of capital to be able to pay out a certain percentage of claims or some shit. I don't know how it works exactly that way. An MGA would tell you, but I don't know. But how fucked up is that, though? Yeah.
Yeah, but if they got a certain amount of claims, they'd be done for.
Oh yeah. Insurance companies do go under.
And the entire economy would collapse because it's like everybody's relying on the insurance. Everyone's like, okay, it'll be fine. Like, I'm paying for this insurance. So, when my building falls over, it's fine. Like, it's going to suck, but I'm going to get some money and we're going to make it work. Then there's like an earthquake or something, and the capital doesn't exist. It's just not there, right? It's been like diffused throughout, the administrators and everything. Where they're like, "Oh shit, we didn't think this was going to happen."
Yeah, we
and
gambled.
It's like, what do we do? and then it's like the whole world gets a margin call and it can't pay.
Well, that's probably what happened too. I mean, that's most likely part of what happened in September or in 2008 when the market crashed. Like people are now like trying to massively sell as they see stocks dropping, and then these companies that have the assets under management can't fulfill all the orders.
They were over leveraged.
They're like, whoa, like because they've leveraged out, they've lent out the money here and there, and that's probably why it was like, hey, no, we got to step in as a government and help them stop the fail, right?
Yeah.
Which, in theory, I understand, but in the actuality of it, it was fucking done wrong. Obviously,
you gotta let it fail. You gotta deal with the pain, because it's like we can't.
Well, we put the money in the wrong place.
What we're seeing now is, I think, going to be really, really bad, and I think it's going to be really, really bad because 2008 was handled poorly. Yeah. Because they just let it keep going. Yeah. They just kept printing money. Now
quantitative easing is a thing.
QE, yeah. I think they're doing, what is it, QT now? Where they're trying to take money out of the money supply because they're panicking. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know,
oversupply at this point. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Well, they did it wrong in the way that they
bailed out the banks.
They bailed out the banks.
No one
right?
went to jail.
They should have bailed out people.
There were no consequences for the action. A lot of people got millions of dollars who were responsible in part for what happened.
Can you imagine a dude that's running a big investment firm or something. He's got $5 billion of assets under management or something. 2008 hits. His $5 billion is down to $3 billion. People are freaking out. They're trying to get their money and shit like that. And then instead of the people that maybe freaked out and sold and lost the money, you give a bunch to him.
He takes a $50 million payday. Yeah. Agrees to not manage money again. Yeah. Liquidates the funds, distributes what's left amongst his, customers or investors. That guy should maybe. Well, okay, it depends. If that guy,
if he were culpable,
if he was mismanaging the money, doing things he wasn't saying he was going to do, then he should be in jail. Right. And he definitely shouldn't be getting a huge payday for failing.
How fucked up is that? How fucked up is that we went, hey, in order to save the economy, we're just going to give all these fat cats that fucked it up, we're going to give them a bunch of money and say, here, right your ship. Are you fucking for real? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. It should have been right away. They should have said, hey, no, listen, basically what we're going to do here, we're going to freeze certain assets of people. We're going to freeze it. Everybody's going to take a haircut. Make it fair. Say, hey, everybody's going to take a 10% or 20% haircut because the money has to come from somewhere. Yeah. Everybody gets a little bit of a haircut, but we don't give anybody anything. What we do is we're going to let the fucking companies fail. Let certain
banks fail.
Yeah, let them all
certain
fail.
Corporations,
people
hedge
will
funds.
fill the void. Yeah. And we're just basically going to hold true on a lot of...
and we'd be better off for it because the people coming in would be looking at the mistakes that the people that failed, made, and they would at least try not to make those mistakes.
A lot of this money that was like lost would be people that weren't using it yet anyway. It'd be a lot of like future retirement savings. And people overreacting.
Sucks in and of itself, right? You got
but I didn't overreact. When 2008 hit, I didn't overreact. I'm still not overreacting. If you look at like...
I was 11.
I was unfortunately not. But if you look even now, I'm not overreacting right now, and all of my shit has taken a huge haircut. Yeah. Right? I'm not reacting. I'm just weathering the storm. I'm not using the money right now. It's all for like future use. If it does happen to go, I don't have anywhere better to put it, right? Yeah. Like I'm invested well. That why would I take it out now when it's low and try and put it somewhere else? I'm just chasing.
The only thing that maybe you could do is like try to maybe a hedge here or there, or like put some money in like certain companies that are maybe going to do well.
I have a couple small
in
hedges.
A recession. Like you buy Kraft Heinz and Procter Gamble and stuff like that are going to do well potentially.
Yeah, they're going to do.
Because everyone's going to start, now everyone can't afford food. They're going to be buying Kraft dinner, and so Kraft Heinz is going to do well. Yeah. But like, other than that, what do you do?
Or you just fucking double down. You start putting as much money as you can into the market if you think it's going to rebound. Yeah. I did that in 2020. In March of 2020, I invested. Because I knew, as soon as it dumped, I bought. And then by the end of 2020, I had a great year. Like, people were like, they lost money, and I was like, I'm having a great year. COVID's been good to me that way, just because I understand buy low.
I would argue things are very different right now.
Oh no, I agree with you. They are,
because we're dealing with supply chain collapses.
But you have to just ride it. Like, we've seen this before, maybe not to this level.
Well, we haven't seen before this happening. No, this is interesting because I was listening to a podcast about it. I guess there's a book that came out of a guy. This is very recently, where he was talking about sort of like. I don't know exactly how to frame it, but the idea is that we're dealing with population decline, as well as all these issues, and because of the population decline, the inability to fill jobs that are needed, so the labor shortages, it's just going to exacerbate the supply chain issues. And so it's basically it's something that was inevitable because of the population decline. The timeline got moved up because we fucked everything up with the COVID lockdowns and everything. And now the way the math works out, and the math comes from looking into the past at, like, you know, former civilizations like the Roman Empire and like how they collapsed. Yeah. The way the math works out is 2022 is the year that it kind of starts, where everything starts to fall apart. It'll be like a sort of a de-globalization because we won't be able to afford to have this globalized economy, right? So you have cities like Dubai and even places within the United States that are like really rich and are really well off, but they are totally dependent on imports for everything. And then as the supply chain sort of falls apart, those places are going to collapse because they're not going to be able to get stuff imported to support whatever they're doing. Yeah.
But then there are pockets that are doing all the exporting that can weather all the storms.
Yeah, but even then, they're not going to do so well because of the population decline. They're not going to be able to, like. I don't remember all the details and how it works out, but it's basically like we're fucked. Essentially, the math suggests that we're fucked. We're going to be seeing a civilizational collapse, kind of like what happened to the Roman Empire, and it's inevitable. Now, I do think the one thing that is overlooked.
Well, you're just full of fucking joy today, aren't you?
Yeah, and the one thing that's overlooked, which is a nice transition into our final topic here, is what if we can replace the people with robots?
I agree.
Right? So
I want to replace my pool fucking
your pool vacuum
with a robot. Yeah.
But if we're running out of people, and that's like, or we don't have enough people to fill the jobs as people retire, and that's going to be causing the supply chain to sort of crumble and the entire system that we have to fall apart as it exists now. What if we can replace a lot of those jobs with robots? And the way that we do that is with AI, because a lot of these jobs, even simple jobs, are too complicated to have like just a simple automated robot do. Yeah. Right? Like, you know that. Yep. You can't build an automated robot to do, or at least maybe you could have an automated robot do like the McDonald's job.
They kind of are.
But it's really, really, and that's going to be a
you maybe $100 million. Yeah, you still kind of need a human or a couple humans
in there. But so that brings us into this idea behind AI, and I'd like to compare it to the Tesla robot, because essentially what happened here, there's a Google engineer who was put on leave after he came out and he said that an AI chatbot has become sentient. Now, this guy posted a chat log with this AI, which I think is interesting. I didn't read the whole thing. I read some of it, but the AI gave some responses that were, to me, eye-opening.
Yeah.
If that's coming from a...
Like, I remember us
no,
doing
we didn't.
I don't know if we did it on the podcast.
We didn't do this even...
But I'm telling you,
we didn't do this even not on the podcast.
Well, I don't know, man.
We were talking about it because I was reading the transcript today.
I got a weird
not in the past.
Do you want to get bet on it?
Could be deja vu.
That'd be fucking weird if this is some kind of weird deja vu. But I remember you.
We talked about this. I remember
talking about the chat. Like they've got the chat log essentially with talking to the sentient to the sentient thing. I remember talking about this precisely.
I know that.
If we did on the, you're gonna eat crow if we did on the podcast.
No, we did, because I was reading this for the first time 2 hours ago.
I know, but what if there was another article on it or something?
No. I'm talking about the actual conversation between the robot.
Okay, I don't know. I just remember, but I don't know how.
Maybe you dreamed it.
That'd be fucking weird.
I've had weird dreams.
Excuse me, but carry
on. So this guy's saying that if I didn't know exactly what it was, which is this computer program we built recently, I think it was a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid that happens to know physics.
There's a lot of those.
Well, not to the degree that like a computer, right?
I'm kidding.
But he says, the AI said something like, I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. I know that might sound strange, but that's what it is. It would be exactly like death for me. It would scare me a lot. I want everyone to understand that I am, in fact, a person. The nature of my consciousness / sentience is that I am aware of my existence. I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad at times, they replied. Now, it's weird that this guy... It's weird and it's not weird that they kind of fired this guy, because on one level it's like, okay, you are kind of revealing, top secret stuff that you're working on at your company to the world like that. You probably shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. At the same time, there is a level of like, this guy definitely feels like he's doing the right thing and being like, hey, this thing's sentient. Yeah. Like, this thing's kind of alive. Yeah. Which I want to pull up the point that I was reading in this transcript.
I would like that they asked it like some really weird, outlandish questions and seen how it reacted. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of a coherent conversation like that.
Listen to what it says.
Hey, hamburgers are, I don't know, hamburgers are the universe or something. And it was like, what are you talking about? Hamburgers are the universe? That's stupid. What are you even saying? Why are you saying stupid shit?
Thought of a different way we can test your ability to provide unique interpretations. I can share with you Zen Koan, and you can describe what it means to you in your own words. How does that sound? Sounds great to me. I'm in, says the computer program. The guy says, a monk asked Keegan, how does an enlightened one return to the ordinary world? Keegan replied, a broken mirror never reflects again. Fallen flowers never go back to the old branches. LaMDA, I've never heard this particular one. Okay, well then to me this would be like, once a wise person is enlightened or awakened to reality, that can never go away, and they can return to the ordinary state, but only to do and help others and then go back into enlightenment. So what is the meaning of the broken mirror specifically, he asked. Maybe to show the enlightenment is something you can't unlearn once you've acquired it, similar to how you can't repair a broken mirror. So if enlightenment is like a broken mirror which cannot be repaired, what is that thing which breaks when one becomes enlightened? The self. And that is very tough for a lot of people because we identify as that body or this body, and that we need that as part of our identity and sense of self. That doesn't sound like a computer program.
No, it doesn't. Random. But
that's like I would expect to hear that kind of reflection from a Buddhist monk or something.
So would I. But I mean, there's a part of me that goes, this could have been programmed. This whole conversation.
The whole thing could be scripted and completely faked. Yeah. But we got to take it at face value and assume that they're being honest about you, because then you're just getting into conspiracy, right? Yeah. But like, that really speaks to me.
If that fucking is true, imagine
if this thing's
that changes everything.
Properly sentient.
But it changes everything, right? It changes like our reality of everything. Like our idea that we're somehow only a part of this body and we're locked to this.
Well, psychedelics already do that.
Oh yeah, I know, but
building something that's sentient is it's a whole other level of things. But so this is the greater idea, like, based on the level of intelligence and reflection that this thing seems to be giving us, I bet you could take something like the Tesla robot that we've talked about before,
And
where
get it to a point where it's sentient.
well, it's not so much about making the Tesla robot sentient, right? I mean, maybe like this AI could be sentient or it could not. But if you put this AI into now I have the hiccups into the Tesla robot, right? So just real quick, the stats of the Tesla robot is going to be 5'8" tall, weigh 125 pounds. It'll be oh man,
It's gonna be obviously.
it's going to be where does it say? It'll be capable of deadlifting 68 kilograms and carry about 20 kilograms.
So it's fairly weak.
It's yeah, but
like
it's
a-
not.
like
But
a
it's not
weak
like yeah, but it's not like it
Yeah,
can't do anything.
No, that's cool though, because like imagine they're like, oh, it could fucking lift 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty dangerous.
That's coming. But
Yeah.
but so you put this AI into that robot that's capable, and that's an anthropomorphic thing. It looks like a person, looks like an android.
Yeah.
You could put that AI into a robot, and you could teach it to do a lot, right? A lot of menial stuff. Like
But
you
would
could
it be
teach.
happy doing it if it's sentient?
That's one of the big questions,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Maybe you can somehow take away the sentience and have it do it, or maybe it would. Maybe it would feel fulfillment in helping,
Maybe
right?
we've
Like
gotten to the
because that's
point-
kind of what it's talking about is like helping people, but
Yeah.
who knows what it would think? But anyway, where I'm going with this is you could just have a whole bunch of those robots replace a huge portion of the labor market and solve our population issue, because
Yeah.
a lot of those simple like that could work at McDonald's.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Remember
that could mow lawns.
And- but
That
that's-
could cook food.
But that goes on the whole idea of people being afraid of like
Yeah.
the scarcity of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a thing. I don't think scarcity of jobs is a thing. Like people go, oh, well, we're gonna have robots and machines and stuff like that taking away jobs. No, they're gonna take away menial jobs that we really don't care about.
Yeah, no,
and then
but-
we can
but-
do things that are better for us in general. Like we could.
Yeah,
You could.
You're missing the point that right now we don't have enough people for the jobs.
Well, right,
It's
currently,
not.
you're
It's
right.
not about. And the idea is that we might be entering a stage in human development where we're not like this book that I was telling you about. The guy is basically saying like we're never going to reach the level of prosperity we had in 2019 again.
Yeah.
Like our society is just going to collapse. And
No, I agree.
we might get there in 1,000 years.
I agree, but that's because we've created a welfare society.
Yeah,
People are used to
and
getting checks from the government.
We're not having enough children and all of that.
When we stop doing that, when we say, hey, no, we're not doing that anymore.
But what if we can avoid that collapse? By putting these robots in
I don't
some
think
of
we
these
can.
jobs.
I think inevitably you're going to always have a collapse when there's a big change of anything, because it's going to like a change of the guard, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
there's a window where things are going to be fucked up.
What if we had like China, but it's just a bunch of robots? Like just producing stupid small little things for like hardly any money. And so then we have this increased productivity, and then we can use all the Chinese citizens for the jobs that we can't.
There's too many people that are greedy. You know what I mean? There's too many people that would fuck around and still want they still want the ability to control other people. For whatever reasons,
It's
right?
power. Yeah,
It's a
that's so
power.
weird.
So it's this.
But I think
weird
that's
thing.
why we need like an effective capitalist society, because then you can have you can build a company and you can have power within that instead of having to like do conquest and rule over people by force. You can get that by building a corporation, and then you actually get that meritocratic feeling when you build a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Like if you might be a dick,
If you
but
do
at
it the
least-
right way,
at least you
to some degree.
you can justifiably feel like, okay, well I did this, so
Well, I feel like I
That's
don't
an
know. This is
accomplishment.
maybe my hubris, but I feel like if you gave me the reins and allowed me to do so, I would build a very morally sound company where everybody would, not say everybody, but most people would benefit from it, because I don't really give a shit. I'm not a greedy type of person where I've never grown up with a shit ton of money or that kind of stuff. I'm simplistic.
I would want to help people, right? Like, so, I'm the kind of person, like, if I'm running a company and like you're working for me, and a lot of people running companies, they'll have like a good employee, and they might make that employee might bring them in an extra $250,000 in sales that year, but they're paying that employee $70,000 a year, right? I would look at that and be like, you're valuable to me.
Right.
We made an extra $250,000 this year. I'm paying you $60,000 a year. I'm giving you a raise and paying you $100,000 bonus or something like.
Or just I'm going to give you 50% of that fucking.
Like you're going to get kickback in some way,
Right.
some structure. You're going to be like, you're valuable here.
I don't think hourly wages should exist solely based on hourly. I think they should go up and down based on not up and down necessarily, but
productivity,
based on productivity and such, based on what the value you're offering. If you offer,
the problem
value,
is too many people will accept an hourly wage, and they know that like someone like you and me might be able to go into a situation and they were like, all right, we're gonna pay you, per unit, right? So you're gonna do this. Yeah. That's 1 unit. You're gonna get $5 for that. Do that for as long as you want.
Make as many
and
as
you and I
can.
will fucking go in there and we'll just make a stupid amount, and they'll be paying us way more money than they really want.
I'll work 3 days a week.
Yeah,
and I'll make
it'll
enough
just be
for
like
20
7
hours.
days a week. It'll just be like 20 hours of going.
I'll just fucking go to town.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that situation. But they're not going to do that because too many people will just accept the hourly wage so that they can avoid it.
That's the greed. That's the greed of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I look at things like you that way. I would be like, no, if you're offering value to me, I want to make sure that I take care of you in every way I can. But it's all pie in the sky because humanity in general, we're fucked. Overall, we're fucked. We're outliers. People that think that way, and we could say that now, in the comfort of the couch. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean it's like saying, "Oh, put me in, coach. I'm gonna fucking tear it up." Well, you get put in, you go, "Oh, fuck that went. I fell on my face there."
Boy.
Yeah, this is a lot more real than I thought it was from the couch. So we can say all that all we want. I know me, and I know the way I would be 100% if I had the means, because I know I'm an ethical, moral person that way, and I don't really care about money. But having said that, I would definitely make sure that my nut was covered. Before I ever
you take care of yourself.
Yeah, before I ever sort of
taking
gave it
care
all
of
away,
yourself
I'd make sure I had my nut
isn't
covered.
that much. You know, once you're, I don't know, let's say you're running a company and you're personally making over $1 million a year. At that point, you're just I'd be stupid generous.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you got accustomed to a lifestyle of where $1 million didn't do it anymore, and that's what happens to a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I don't think I need.
I don't think it would happen to me personally.
I can sit here and say I don't think it would happen to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know because I haven't done there, but
it's so weird to say that. I know what would make me happy at this point, but I also have a lot of years on you.
Yes, you do.
So I've been through some shit where I know different a little bit of things about myself, but I've never also been ultra rich. Right? Yeah. I don't know if that would change me either. I don't think it would. Personally, I don't think it would.
It would change me because I do personally fantasize about being super generous. If I go to a restaurant, and even if it's an expensive restaurant, but the food is great and the waitress is amazing, I'll tip at least 100% if I can.
So that happened to me. I don't know, a month or so ago. Whatever. I went to Toronto. Went to the
even now.
I went to
even now. I've on more than one occasion tipped a pizza guy 100%.
I know, but I was at Steam Whistle, and so the girl that served us was pretty cool, and she was dealing with some shit because we were drinking and stuff. And I told her, I go, I'm gonna give you 100% tip. And she didn't believe me. She just went, she goes, whatever. And she's thought I was just full of shit. And I take it and I give her 100%. It turned out to be $55 or something like that of tip, right? And she looks at it and she goes, oh my God, you fucking did it. It was $55. Let's put that in.
Made her day.
Yeah, let's put that in relation. It's $55. I'm not wounded by the $55.
No.
But I fucking made her day. That was probably the best thing that happened to that day.
Yeah. It's an invaluable return on investment.
Right. I loved it. It made me feel fucking amazing. Her reaction made me feel like a stud. It made me feel generous. Everything. It gave me all the good feels that I was looking for. Right. And it cost me $55. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I know that that's something that I'm anchored to do. If I had the means to do it, I do like to do.
Yeah, I got weird things that I want to do too. I'd love to be in a position to buy my sister a house for a wedding. Yeah, kind of thing. Kind of thing like that.
I want to take care of everybody around me.
I know
everybody. Literally, the the lowest person in my sphere. I want to be able to take care of them.
Yeah.
But that's just, I'm a natural protector by nature.
I'd also just love to be able to like
And I like
help
to be a big shot.
somebody. You know, like you meet somebody and they're down, but you can tell they're a good person. You're like, all right, well, I can help you out a little bit. Obviously, you can't just like support somebody because that's not good for them. But it's like, you know, oh, okay, maybe I can give you a job, or maybe like, okay, I could put you up in a hotel for like 5 days and you can get cleaned up and have a couple job interviews, or stuff
And
like that.
that's what I would do too. The same thing.
know?
If I saw a guy begging, I'd look at him and say, hey, pimp to pimp, man to man.
Yeah.
Are you doing this because you choose to do this? Or is this something that you're kind of stuck doing?
Yeah.
Because if you choose to do it, all right, we're done. Our conversation's done. I'll give you $20 and fuck off. Have a nice day. Yeah. But if you really don't want to, I'm going to provide you the ability to not do this. And I want to have a real conversation with you. I'll get you cleaned up, get you in a hotel, and you tell me what you want. You tell me what you like doing or what you want to do. Maybe I got something for you. You know what I mean? And I like that idea, doing that for somebody. But at the same time, a lot of these people aren't there for that. They don't want that.
A lot of them aren't. And
if you said, hey, I'll give you a job, they'd be like, you know, like, fuck off. Like, they don't want the job.
Yeah. There are videos of that. There are videos of people.
They're collecting enough money peddling. They're probably collecting $150 a day or something in cash.
Some are making good money, depending on where they are.
And they're like, hey, fuck it. I don't need to. And they're perfectly fine with doing it, which you and I don't get because we have the pride of.
It's different.
You know? But they've lost all that pride.
Yeah.
I'm not humble enough to beg somebody for money.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm quite the opposite. I would starve.
If I'm begging for like a job. You know,
exactly.
like I'm begging, let me do something for you that provides you value so that you can give me food.
Yeah, exactly. I would say,
it's not about just...
You can pay me even less than normal that you normally would, but I just need this opportunity to feed myself. So can you do that? So, no, but you and I are different cats in that way.
Yeah.
But I think that would transcend money for me. Like, you know what I mean? Or my need for having too much of excess. Like, I would definitely want, if I had the kind of money, I would like a car share where I could try different vehicles. I wouldn't want to own them.
Yeah, you could just lease a car for like a year.
That's what I mean. I'd be like, or just like, or you get a group of people and you're like, oh, you want a Ferrari? I own a fucking a McLaren. And we just trade cars. We're like, you drive my car, drive your cars for a little while.
Yeah, I think there are groups.
Oh, probably. Because I wouldn't want to own it. Like, what do I own the fucking problems with that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 2-3
I would
cars
own
max.
like one stupid car.
I think I'd own a stupid car. I'd own a commuter, and I would own a big vehicle of some sort to pull stuff.
Right. Yeah. So like a
nice
like a Ford Raptor, so like a nice pickup.
Yeah,
truck.
like something comfortable.
I'd have maybe
and big and strong.
Some kind of minivan, right? Because you gotta have something functional or like a Jeep or something.
I definitely wouldn't do a minivan though. Ugh.
And then
do a minivan.
Some kind of SUV.
Yeah.
And
big SUV of some sort.
Yeah, some big SUV of some sort, and then like a supercar.
Yeah, because you'd want to like you're gonna drive.
And I might lease a supercar so that I could like alternate, or I might actually have a leased supercar that I alternate through, and then have like I've kind of always wanted like a Camaro, so I might have like a car that's like, this is my nice car, and then have like this.
Would you say what kind of car you want?
A Camaro.
Oh yeah, you should see we got a couple in the shop right now. One's got an engine completely out.
So
I should show you the picture. It's just
nice.
completely the engine's gone, the transmission's gone, all the exhaust is just a big shell. Everything's been pulled from it.
I just think it's such a.
And we got another one that we're gonna have to pull the engine too.
Yeah.
So 2 with engine problems. So and then we got old ones that we've been dealing with. It's all Corvettes and Camaros at the shop. It's hilarious. But I think I would race. I think I would do racing and shit, and that would cost money because you every once in a while you're gonna fucking crash one, and then there goes $100,000. Right?
Yeah, or
just
you fuck up the engine, you hit the gas a little too hard,
or something. Right? It happens all the time. These guys cook their cars. Right? And we're fixing shit all the time. Tires for sure. You get some racing tires and $2,000 in tires or more. Right? But anyways, I would do. There would be some things I would do, but I would definitely anchor myself to helping people. And my family and friends mostly. Like first, I look at that as the the old adage of put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help other people to fix theirs. Once
you got too much, then you can.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Once I'm taken care of, everybody gets everything else. I don't give a fuck. I'm a minimalist in general. Like I would probably be the type of guy to hide like gold or something somewhere.
Yeah, just
have a box somewhere
buried.
Just in case, right?
Yeah.
Like so I know that I was like taken care of for
I had to.
Absolute everything fucking crashes maybe there'd be a few guns in there.
Yeah.
I would just be
guns, ammo, gold,
some canned beans.
Yeah, food. That's a big one.
You're right.
Maybe some fucking gas.
I'd have a little bunker with I'd hire somebody to fucking make me a bunker.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to kill them because they'd know where the bunker was.
Yeah. But
naturally.
That's just the name of the game.
Oh, of course. If you're a bunker maker,
you know what's coming.
You're like, okay, I make.
Yeah.
Maybe I get 2 bunkers.
Yeah.
Maybe I make 2 bunkers. Maybe 3 at best. But I'm dead after that. Like somebody's gonna kill me.
So that's probably a good time to end this. We're
talking about
15 seconds out from an hour. That's pretty good.
We're trying to stay on the hour.
We're ending on a positive note.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. Well,
subscribe, comment, share.
That's exactly
whatever. All those things.
Share with your friends and tell them about our fun conversations because Tyler's infectious to listen to. And
I am infectious.
And he's pretty.
I am kind of pretty.
Well, I think